Hi there, Smart Drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about how to get your vehicle into a garage safely without ripping the mirrors off. Now, just before we get started here, be sure to hit that subscribe button way over there. That way you'll get access to all of the great information here on the channel, especially for those of you working towards a license or starting a career as a truck or bus driver. Now, just a quick story. When I was a teenager, and I think before actually I got my license, my dad used to let me back the truck, the pickup truck, into the garage. And you know, I'm learning how to drive, and of course it was a manual transmission, so there's a lot of other stuff going on as well in terms of learning how to drive a manual transmission. Of course, I'm backing into the garage, and he didn't indicate to me that the mirrors were the widest part of the vehicle, and that when the doors got near the door jamb that I had to be especially careful. But anyway, what happened was I got the truck kind of cockeyed off on a slant when I was backing in and managed to rip one of the mirrors off the truck to great embarrassment. So I understand your trepidation about trying to park your vehicle into the garage, whether you're pulling in or whether you're backing in. Now, the other thing about garages is that oftentimes they become a dumping ground for all the excess stuff in our house. We always have one of those rooms where all the stuff goes, and the garage tends to be it. And especially my garage here, you'll notice in the video that it's pretty crowded with all the recyclables and tools and other stuff that's in there. So one of the things that you can do is get a string, as you can see here in the image, and put a weight on the bottom. Tennis balls works really well. We have a toy. This is Neil here. He's hanging there, and that will give you a good indication of how far you need to pull into the garage so you can still get the door closed, and then you can walk around the vehicle and still do some work in the garage and those types of things. So know that as well. Now, if my garage here is not in a laneway, so I have to kind of come in on an angle to get into the garage. Most of you are going to have a garage where you're going to have a straight line approach, which is going to make it much easier for you. This one here, I actually have to compensate for the off tracking because I'm coming in from that side over there. I got to get right over to the left side of the door to get the back end into the vehicle. And as I said, the mirrors are the widest part of the vehicle, and when you get with the mirrors, you got to be especially careful. Now, one other point that I will make, and I've said this before in other videos, the slower the vehicle goes, the sharper it turns. So go slow, and there's several reasons for going slow. The first one is that the sharper the vehicle turns, so you have better maneuverability of the vehicle. The other one is that you go slow, you have time to observe, and you want to especially observe when your mirrors get near the door jamb. That way you're not going to rip them off. As well, if you get out of whack and there's a possibility that you could damage the vehicle, you could potentially get it stopped before something happens. And then finally, if you do hit something, you're going to minimize the damage that you do because you're going slow. So the key to this is to go slow and observe lots and lots and lots. So stick around, we'll be right back with that information. Hi there, Smart Drivers, welcome back. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about how to park in a garage. And we're on our way home here, and we're gonna hit the garage door opener here, the big button that will open the door for us as we make our way into the driveway here. And the door is going up, as you can see in the dash cam here. Now, as I said, if your garage is not in a driveway, as mine is not, then you have to get over to the left side here to get in, and we simply drive in until we have our little thing hanging down there. When we touch that, then we stop the vehicle because we know that we're into the garage, and that's how far you stop in. And you put the vehicle in the parking brake on, put it into a forward gear. If you're driving manual, you're going to put it into park. If you're driving an automatic transmission, and then shut the vehicle off, and we get out, and you can either close the door with your remote in the vehicle, or you can use the switch on the wall, as most of these automatic garage doors openers are going to have. And now we're in the dark, the door goes down, and we're going to back out. Now, as I said in the introduction, we open the door back up, start the vehicle into reverse, parking brake off. As we said in the introduction, the mirrors are the widest part on the vehicle, so when you back out, you need to go slowly. You want to check your mirrors on both sides and make sure that you're not close to the doorway, because it's going to be a tight fit. Your right hand on the back of the passenger seat. If you're on the other side of the road in Australia, the UK, or Malaysia, or other parts of the world, then you're going to be opposite to what I am doing right now. And then you simply back up. You don't need to look out the door. What I would suggest is that you look out the mirror of the passenger side there and back up slowly. And as I said in the introduction, your mirrors are the widest part of the car. So when you get to the mirrors, which is right here, then you want to make sure that you're between the doorway so that you don't tear one of the mirrors off, because if you're okay on the mirrors on both sides, which I am, then you're going to be okay to back out the rest of the way. So now we can back out. We're past the mirrors, which is the widest part of your vehicle, in the doorway, and we simply back straight out at this point. We simply get our steering wheel straight. As you know, 1.5 turns in either direction, and when the logo is straight up, then you know it's straight. If you're not sure that it's straight, then just let the vehicle roll back a little bit, and we look behind us now. We're completely clear of the doorway of the garage, and we simply move around and prepare to take off. Now I'm simply going to drive forward. You might be backing out of a driveway out onto the roadway, and then you'll proceed. So we put it into a forward gear, click the door so the door closes. As you can see, it's closing in the dash cam there, and we take off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around again, and I'm going to show you how to reverse into the garage and show you how to do that, because that's a little bit more complicated than simply driving into the garage. Most of you are going to drive into the garage. Some of you might have a driveway where you can get practice, and we slow down before we get to the garage. We open the door, and if you can, you want to drive around on the driver's side and back into the garage. I don't have that luxury here, so we pull up. If you're backing off a roadway, definitely want to signal. Into reverse, steering wheel, right hand on the back of the passenger seat, and you simply move around. Watch the front corner of the vehicle there, because that's going to move around on you, and you might get into a ditch or another vehicle or something. So make sure you have a look at that front corner when you're turning the corner here and you're reversing. All right, we bring the vehicle around until we're in line. We check our mirrors and see if you can see the sides of the doors, and that way you know you're lined up with the vehicle as well. Once you get the mirrors lined up so you can see that you're actually in the doorway, you're lined up with the doorway, look straight ahead and make sure that your vehicle is going straight back. And I'm driving a manual transmission, and now I'm straight forward. I can see I've stopped, and I can see that I'm straight forward. I have the mirrors on both sides. I can see the door jambs, and I can see that the car is between the two sides of the door. So I continue to back up. And now I'm getting near this mirror here. So I'm going to be very careful going slowly and making sure that this mirror actually stays inside of the vehicle. As well, I can see that I'm not straight in, so I have to get the back end. I have to get the back end of the vehicle that way and the front end of the vehicle that way. And that's going to work for me to get the vehicle straightened out. But again, the mirrors are still outside of the door frame, so I have to watch the mirrors in to make sure that I don't clip them off here in the doorway. Okay? So backing up, nice and slow here. This is the most dangerous point, is when the mirrors are in the door jamb. Okay, and I'm watching, coming back. And I've got my string with my thing on it here, and I just back up until I touch that, and I can see it move, and that way I know that I'm far enough into the garage, into a forward gear, parking brake on, shut the vehicle off, and close the door. And that's how you back into the garage. So you drive into the garage, back into the garage. And again, if you've backed into the garage, driving out is quite simple. But again, you want to go slowly until you get to the mirrors, because the mirrors, so we're into a forward gear, we've released the parking brake, and we're going to move forward. And again, you go very slowly. So the mirrors are just coming up to the door frame of the garage. This is your most dangerous point, because this is the widest part of your vehicle, is the mirror sticking out. So now we're just going to go slowly. We let the vehicle roll. I've got my foot on the brake, and I'm controlling the brake until the mirrors are past, and I'm looking at both mirrors on both sides, bobble head back and forth. And now I'm past the most dangerous part on the vehicle, and now I proceed. I simply go out of the garage. I'm completely out of the garage. I hit my garage door opener, the door closes, and we proceed and have a great day. Quick review of driving into a garage. The mirrors on your vehicle are going to be the widest part of your vehicle. So when you get near the mirrors in the vehicle as you're going into the garage, that's going to be the part where you have to go the most slowest and have to observe the most to make sure that your vehicle is actually going to go in and you're not going to clip a mirror off your vehicle, because that's very embarrassing when you do that. As well, get a string with some sort of weight. A tennis ball works really well, or a toy or whatnot, something that's soft that you can put in the garage, and that way you know how far to pull your vehicle into the garage, because there's nothing more annoying when you pull right up to the wall and you can't, you know, walk around your vehicle and those types of things in your garage, especially if you're trying to work in your garage and those types of things. That way your vehicle will be in the perfect spot every time when you pull it into the garage. Now, most of you are going to be driving into your garage and then backing out. That tends to be a little bit easier and tends to be the norm. Some of you will back into your garage, but again, try and back around from the driver's side of the vehicle. That's going to make it easier. In the garage that I have here, it's not possible for me to do that. I have to back around from the passenger side. And again, when you're backing in, check your two mirrors, your two wing mirrors, and make sure that you can see the sides of the door and that you're lined up with that. And then look forward to make sure that your vehicle is straight forward again. And when you back in nice and slow, and when you get near the mirrors, you're going to go super slow, because that's, again, the widest part of your vehicle, and that's when you want to take the most time backing into your garage. And then finally, you want to have your little dangly thing with your toy or your tennis ball or whatnot on it, and that way you know how far to back into the garage. Now, most of you in this day and age, especially in North America, are going to have automatic garage door openers. You're either going to have a remote in your vehicle. A lot of them will have clips on them and they'll be up on the visor there. A lot of the newer vehicles have the remotes built right into the vehicle, and there's a learn button on the back of the motor for your automatic garage door opener. You simply push that and go in the vehicle and push the remote, and that way the two will start to talk to each other, and then that way it's just a matter of setting that up, which is fairly easy. So it's fairly straightforward. Question for my smart drivers: do you drive into your garage or do you back into your garage? Leave a comment down in the comment section there. All of that helps out the new drivers working towards their license and learning how to drive. If you like what you see here, share, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section as well. Hit that thumbs up button. Check out all the videos here on the channel if you're working towards a license or starting a career as a truck or bus driver. Lots of great information here as well. Head over to the Smart Drive Test website and get your driver's license test day checklist. This will give you all of the great information that you need on test day. Things that you need to remember: identification, your glasses, what you need to do when you get to the test center, what procedures you do when you go in, what practices you need to do a mock road test 7 to 10 days before your actual test. That way you're going to be completely ready and you will pass your road test first time. As well, there's great courses over that you can purchase that will help you to ensure that your success in getting your license or starting your career as a truck or bus driver. I'm Rick with Smart Drive Test. Thanks very much for watching. Good luck on your road test, and remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.